Okay, hi, this is Kevin Kraut again. I'm going to tell another story. I keep being asked to tell stories, so I guess I'll tell this one. This is kind of a neat story. My dad wrote a book called The Three Nephites. The three Nephites were kind of unique in Mormon history because they were immortals who had been Lamanites or people, or Nephites, I guess, from the old Book of Mormon times here in Utah. And at one time, my father told me that he was reading that in about 1860s to 1880s, there wasn't one Mormon family that didn't have an appearance by one of the three Nephites. Almost everybody could sit down and say, our family had a visitation, or one had come and helped, or one had told us information or helped us with what needed to be told. And so it was pretty popular back in that time. About the time my dad had finished the book, The Three Nephites, my brother was getting ready to go on his mission, and he had an encounter which he claimed to have with that as well. He never really went into detail about it until I had an encounter. And my encounter was that I was in Alpine, Utah, and kind of about where the roundabout is, there's an actual gas station there that has a kind of a burger joint next to it. And so we was working construction, and we would go over there, once in a while. And I walked in and sat down, and there was this gentleman there, and he had kind of long hair and kind of bluish eyes, and he looked like an Indian, and it was kind of interesting, So I sat down and kind of talked with him for a little bit, and I said, "What you got there?" And he had this notebook, and he was talking about things and writings and whatever. And he said, "Yeah, I'm compiling or working on information for the future or something," and he wouldn't let me look at the book. and so I said, "So what does it pertain to?" And he says, "Oh, nothing you'd be too interested in." And I says, "Oh, it sounds like it might be something I'm interested in, maybe religious things or knowledge or something." And he said, "Well," he said, "I'll tell you what. It has a little bit to do with Joseph Smith, but he wasn't such a great character," and he kind of smiling when he said it, and he kind of doing all this stuff about my religion, and I could tell he was kind of joking, or maybe seeing what I would do or say, and I didn't really say anything. I just kind of said, "Well, whatever," and so anyway, we sat down and visited for a few minutes, and then my name got called, and then I turned to look, and then I turned back right away, and he was gone. And the thing is that I was where the entrance is, and there's only one way to get into that joint. There wasn't, like an exit or anything. It was kind of blocked off. And so I was like, "Oh my heck, he just disappeared." And I thought, I wonder if this was one of the three Nephites or something. And so I went home, and I started praying again about it, because I was praying to find out some information about Adam and the Adam God doctrine and that kind of thing. And I thought, man, if this is one of the three Nephites, I wish I would have been able to ask him. And so I just prayed for him to be there the next day. And so ironically, the next day we went to the very same place, which we never do, but we went back there, and there he was, sitting there, eating his dinner. And so I walked up to him and I said, "I missed you yesterday," or something like this. And he looked right at me, right in the eyes, and he said, "The answer to your question is in the very first verse of the Bible, the first verses of the Bible. But you have to get these Bibles," and he told me several different versions of the Bible, "in order to understand that particular verse." And that was exactly what I'd been praying for. And I went, "Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. I've been trying to find that information." And he said, "Well, very well." And then I turned, and I thought, no way, he's going to disappear on me. And I turned back, he was gone. Oh, got to finish the part with my brother. This is important. So I go down to my brother's place down in Spring City, and I'm talking to him about it. And he said, "Okay, did he have kind of a little mole thing here, and did he kind of have this?" And you know, was his wrinkles this way, and would he have blue eyes that kind of had a little bit of, you know, brown tint to it, but they were blue? And I said, yeah, that's kind of about how he looked, you know, kind of blue, bright, brilliant blue eyes, maybe a little hazel or something in there. And he said, okay, and describe his hair. And I said, well, it was kind of long, you know, and you know, it wasn't white or anything. It was kind of grayish, you know, color. And he says, okay. And so anyway, we ended all this discussion, and he says, wow, that sounds almost the same as the guy that I saw. And I said, tell me about it. And he said, well, he said, I was going to go on my mission, you know, and he says, you know, I was kind of into drinking and partying, and I wasn't the greatest LDS kid in the world. And I wasn't sure whether I was worthy to go on a mission. And so I went up the mountain, and I was praying on the mountain really fervently to know whether I should go on a mission or not, or whether I would make a good missionary. And so about that time, I gave up thinking my answer. And so I started heading down the hill. As I was walking down to my car, was this Indian. He was trying to put this big bale of hay in the back of a pickup truck. It was like a huge bale. No way he's going to get this in the back of his pickup truck. And so I wandered over there, and I said, sir, do you want me to help you get this in the pickup truck? And he said, sure, that'd be great. You know, so he lifts it up, and he throw it in, and the guy turned to me, and he looked at me right in the eyes, and he said, I think you'd make a great missionary. And he says, it stunned me so much, and it felt like it came straight from God, that I just wasn't really thinking straight, you know. And he got in his truck and started driving off, and he said, I'm sitting there watching this truck, and it's driving away, and there's dust flying, you know, from the wind, and then all of a sudden there's no dust, and there's no pickup truck. And he says, I think that's the same guy, been watching out for our family. And I says, it very well could be. So, I think they're still around. I think the 3 Nephites are still around. Anyway, so there's the story.